black hand for being up out here today. Big black hand for being up out here today. Word. I have a whole bunch of teachers, and one of my teachers today is KRS-One. One thing I learned from KRS-One is that no matter how many people is out in the audience, you act like it's 10,000. Okay?
All right.
My rule is whether it's 1 or 100, I'm gonna teach like it's 10,000 people out here. So y'all gonna go ahead and get this fire today, okay? All right. Now, yesterday was amazing. But also yesterday was, for some people, it was a day of mourning because it was the 1 year anniversary of Baba Kilindi Lyi passing on to the realm of the ancestors. So some of you don't know who Baba Kilindi is, what his, like where he come from and stuff like that. And yesterday was me telling his story about my interactions. So today my topic is Baba tell me a story, right? So I'm gonna let him speak for himself. So I have him. This is like one of our greatest collectors of wisdom and teachers in the last 40 years. Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark, when they went on their first exhibition to Egypt in the early 80s, they had a clique with them called The Craft. And Kilindi was in that first craft. He's a bodyguard, African martial artist. He's done bodyguard work for Wesley Snipes, for Aaliyah, like just crazy, but he's so humble, you wouldn't know it. But you know his peoples though. So how many of y'all saw Godfather of Harlem? Mm-hmm. Godfather of Harlem is about who? Bumpy Johnson. Bumpy Johnson is his granddaddy.
What?
Yes, so we're going to get straight to the point. We're going straight to lineage. So his granddaddy was hanging with who? Malcolm and Elijah. Right. And Marvel Comics was sending people to Kilindi's den to talk about mushrooms before Doctor Strange and the Black Panther came out. Because when Doctor Strange went at the temple, and then he tried to, he was offensive, like a regular white dude. He tried to touch the master, and she had to move him about his body, you know what I'm saying? He was just like, then he came back, the first thing he said was, what was in that tea? Psilocybin? What's the active ingredient in mushrooms? Psilocybin? Why did he even say something like that? Because remember, he was already smart before he even got with the skill set. He was already like a genius. So you knew what psilocybin was. He knew what the chakras was, and he was what? Laughing at all of it. This is how much money did Marvel Comics spend on the movie? About 100 mil to make Doctor Strange, because you got all that other stuff going on. How much did they spend on Black Panther? It's about how much they made. They made over $1 billion off of it. And what is the secret to T'Challa's powers? The purple flower, which is the mushroom, which there's over 400 different strains of magic mushrooms in Africa alone that we don't even know about. We just operate off the 50 or 60 or 70 strains over here. So today I want to introduce Baba Kilindi mushrooms. I'm going to have to put numbers and astrology into it too, because I'm going to get into set and setting. So just because I'm just catching the alley-oop. All right, so
I'm just getting all the work today.
So this is the story. So this is the story, right? This is how I kind of went. In 2000, I come from a dysfunctional household. Mother and father got divorced, lots of fighting. I stayed with my father, my little brother and sister with my mother. I was only 12. My father raised me, never missed a football game, none of that. Was at graduation. Today takes me to college. I go on a full scholarship. I'm recruited for West Point. It's because of him saying you're gonna be in these books. You're gonna get these athletics and you're gonna get these books. So then after in college, I drop out. I start selling drugs. I still love my daddy though. You know what I'm saying? So later on, my father gets cancer. He called me one day and said, yo, I got cancer. So I'm like, wow, what can I do for this my nigga. What can I do for him? So I'm riding one day and I pass a car and I see the brother, and he says, hey, I studied with this dude named Sunyata Saraswati, who brought Tantra to North America, and he having a workshop this weekend on how he healed himself from cancer. I was like, man, black people can't heal themselves from cancer. I don't believe that, you know what I'm saying? Especially, who does that? I'm gonna go see just to go see. So the class was $85. I gave him $100 because I was hustling. I said, keep the change. Go to the class. I don't never leave. This is July 17th, 2001, something like that. I've been studying with Senyata ever since. So about 3 years into studying with Senyata, it was Tai Chi, martial arts, Bagua, all type of stuff, Tantra, healing arts. One day he comes back out, his wife Mataji comes from the back and says, today we're gonna learn African Kung Fu. So I was just, all of us was like, what are you talking about? And so Senyata says, Kung Fu, because we were thinking that Kung Fu was Chinese. You know what I'm saying? And judo and karate was Japanese. He was like, all martial arts come from Africa. Mm-hmm. So Senyata was black too, he was from Chicago. So I was like, word? He was like, yeah. So the first movement was this thing called Circle of Power. It's like this. So it's basically just a circle of power, right? And then he turned the music on and he was just like, all right, y'all gonna just dance. Y'all just gonna dance with this right here, the circle of power, right? And so there's a whole bunch of other movements that come with it, and it's very violent. It's very, very social, as we learned later on. So we learned this thing and started practicing it. 4 years later, we see a video on YouTube. Back up, buddy. Back up. 4 years later, this is probably 4 years later. I see this video right here. Of this man doing this little step right here. And I was like, ho, I know that step. I know this step. Right? And back to the bottom. You don't know. Well, don't matter, because I'm gonna take it from here. But I'm gonna need to say something soon. I don't know what happened with the volume. But anyway, so I see the movement and I'm just like, I have to meet this man. So this is probably in this like 2009. You know what I'm saying? So I started looking for this cat and can't find him until maybe 2014, 2015. And I find him and I start talking about the martial arts. And all I want to talk about is this circle of power and where it came from and things like that, right? And so I want to study with this man, but he's in Detroit. So I had never been there. And then he goes and he starts showing the application of how it works, preparing, and then the hand speed comes in and all that. And I don't know anything about mushrooms. I smoke weed at this time. And because I'm under the thinking that weed, LSD, and acid is the same thing. And my weed man told me when I was young, you take a bad trip of acid and you may never come back. Yep. So I was like, well, mushrooms is in there. White people do that. Black people don't do that. So I was just like, nah, I'm good. So, boom. Fast forward, I start dating a sister in Detroit. And then all of a sudden my doctor, Amsu, says, hey, come over here and you need to get on these mushrooms. So he gives me a book that's got a white couple that's going around all over Europe and all over the world to these temples, Muslim synagogues, everything Christian, and they got these mushrooms in the hieroglyphs of all these churches and stuff, right? And Egypt. And I was like, I've been studying Kemet since I was little. How did I miss all these mushrooms? I mean, it was a mushroom everywhere, plain as day, all over the place. And I was just like, wait. So I was like, okay, let me try the mushrooms. So I shoot up and I end up going over there and I take the mushrooms on my birthday. So big shouts out to my man Tyrain because now I'm going into a new year. So that's 2018, that's 9, 10, plus 24, that's 34. I could have been a 7-year, so I'm in 8 year, a 5-year, I'm going into a 5-year, right? What was it, 6 or 17? No, it was a 5-year, it was 2018, right? Wait, it's 2020. I'm going to a 3-year, help me out. 2020 was my 8-year. So if I just take 2 years from that, it was my 6th year. Okay, there we go. 2018, 5/17. Somebody, all the mathematicians, y'all can help me out. So, May 17, 2018, I take mushrooms for, going into my 6th year, I take mushrooms for the first time. Mind blowing. I close my eyes, I see reality. I open my eyes, I was like, this is some bullshit. And I closed my eyes back and I was just like, yeah, this is where I want to be at right here. And all of these things are being shown to me, that they show up, and they're giving me a tour. They're giving me a tour. They're like, where you been? Like, this is how things work. And so I realized that nothing is still. Like, they were showing me like the energy that was flowing through the piece of this. Like a wall that's still, they were showing me like, this is how the electricity runs through everything. Anything I look at, I can see the color code of the current moving through it. Because even though now we look at things, we think they're steel, but nothing is ever steel. Yes, ma'am. 5 grams. Wow. 5 grams. 5 grams. That's 5 grams of golden teacher. We shouts out the golden teacher. Right. And so, take the mushrooms, and then all of a sudden, the next week he says, we gotta learn how to grow these things because, you know, as you go up in dose, as you go up in dose, it's gonna get expensive. So I was like, well, I ain't got no green thumb. I'm thinking we're gonna grow them outside. He said, no, you grow them inside. He said, Kilindi teaching the class. The name rings a bell. I was like, Kilindi. Where I know that name from? He was just like, hey man, he got a class. We're gonna take the class. I thought it was a live class. It's on video. I get Kilindi. I hit Kilindi on Facebook. He said, shoot me $40. He shoot me the video back. Bam! Start getting all the supplies so I can grow mushrooms. Get the spores. Bam! I'm texting him. What's up with this? What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does it look on so far? Just take your time. This looks good. Don't worry about that. Blah, 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 blah. Grow my first mushrooms. Of course, I have to take them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're mine. Another marvelous experience. Before mine had grown, I had bought some more up here and went by myself, but on a lower dose. Experience was definitely nothing close to what it was on 5. Like, I thought I had everything set up and all this. I saw this little stuff and I fell asleep. But I slept good that night. And I was like, I got to go higher. So I started growing my mushrooms, and then Kilindi says you got to go 5 grams, then 7 grams, then 9 grams. But you need a sitter. So I go back to North Carolina for another round of mushrooms with Dr. Amsu. I don't know if I did 5 or 7 the next time, but it was a full moon in Cancer. That's how I know it was in Capricorn season. It was in December, and the moon had the light had outside lit up like it was a concert. Like it was so light outside, and we know that the moon is exalted in Cancer because it's home in Cancer, right? That's also the 4th house. So that's got Tanami, my foundation. You know, and I'm feeling all nice and cozy experience. Go home, so now I'm like, okay, start getting more serious into my growth. I'm gonna start taking bigger doses. And so now it was time to go to like 9 grams. Then I went to 9 grams, and I had went to Detroit at this point and met Kilindi. He was like, come by the house. I was like, you're like a superstar. Did you just come by the house? So I come by the crib, and it's just me and him sitting there. And I was just like, and guess what he was doing? Watching the Science Channel. To me, all grandmasters, they watch the Science Channel. That's what, I mean, in my opinion. So we sit down there, and of course you go to another man's house, you gotta watch what he watching on TV. You can't just be like, cut that off. I want to talk to you. I got to watch what you watching. So something happens or whatever. We talking about cryptocurrency or whatever, and he says, "Come on, follow me." And he take me downstairs and he showed me his laboratory. And I am blown away. I'm also scared because I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you in the family now, you can't say nothing because this is still a Schedule 1. And you got, Schedule 1 is just like cocaine, heroin. It's like, yes, mushrooms are a Schedule 1 right now. They are illegal to have. They are Schedule 1. They don't want you to get this information I'm gonna give you, right? And so, and they consider, you know, a psychedelic, but in some countries they're not. Some countries they're not Schedule 1, but most countries they are. But it just happened in the 70s after Kennedy, because Kennedy was doing mushrooms and LSD and all this in in the White House, which is why he didn't want to go to war with Russia in the Cuban Missile Crisis, because he was a flower child, but nobody didn't know it. Because that's what Marilyn Monroe and all the chicks was bringing him through the back door of the White House. But what else we gonna do with all this money and power and free time? Let's get high with my side chick. That's what they do. Just, I'm sorry. What? I don't know why she laughing. Can somebody tell a history? Somebody give a history. That's what they do, right?
That's what they
Get
do.
a bunch of money and power. Am I wrong?
That's
Anybody,
what they
anybody,
do.
you know?
No,
That's how it goes.
disagree.
Okay.
Lawyers, all of them do get high.
So, once I sit, then, so to me, this is the future. How you grow your mushrooms, right? And I'm seeing, but it's an advanced technique that I'm not aware of at that particular time. And then he was like, yo, I'm having this Detroit Psychedelic Conference. Will you help me? I was like, absolutely, I'll help you with the Detroit Psychedelic Conference. But I want you to come and do some blog talk radios, some interviews on my blog talk radio show. So he came and did he did 13 interviews on my blog talk radio program. And when he did that, they were all like 3 hours long.
Wow.
Yeah, 13 times 3, that's 39. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got options. 39 hours of content. Pure, and he just sitting down, just going in on everything you can ask him. Mushrooms and Tantra, mushrooms and ancestors, mushrooms and spirituality, mushrooms and sovereignty, mushrooms and the Matrix. Certain movies we was going over, like Star Trek and Star Wars, how he was breaking down how the mushrooms was the basis of all that. We was just like, whoa. These calls were so crazy, I'm coming to you, that we was having conference calls after the call. Like, he was like, I'm tired. It was because the show cuts off in 3 hours. So he goes to bed, we get it on a separate conference call number and stay on there another hour talking about what he was talking about for 3 hours while he ain't even on the phone. We just going over just like, did you hear he said? So I was like, Bob, I want you to come to Atlanta and teach a bro class. He was like, word, set it up, because this is going to help people in Atlanta know that in Detroit in August of 2020, we're having a psychedelic conference, and more black people need to know about it. So he comes down to Atlanta on the 27th, which was a Thursday, 2020, February, pick him up, go get all the materials we need. I'd already talked to Zosa, and the 28th, he comes right up in here and gets on stage. And Baba has, if you just type in Baba Kilindi Lyi on YouTube or Kilindi Lyi, you're gonna find all these videos of him in Belgium and all over Europe, Germany, the UK, teaching these classes, you know what I'm saying, as a black man, as a black scholar, taught by Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben, but they only give him 30 minutes. So he's always getting cut off at the end. So when you get down to Atlanta, I was like, ain't nobody opening before you, ain't nobody coming after you. You get all night, you know what I'm saying? And boom. This is him. This is February 28, 2020. This is his last class, but it's only 10 minutes, right? So this is what he's talking about, his teacher. So he said his teacher died before he taught him his final lessons. So he had to spend 3 moonless nights in the grave with his teacher to get the final lessons. So on April 20th, 2020, last year, when he crossed over, I was upset. Because I was like, you ain't finished teaching, I got questions. You can't go nowhere. That was very selfish and immature of me, because I studied death. I'm like, this ain't the final, he can't die. I know I can get in contact with him. I know how to get in contact with my ancestors and spirits and all this, but I missed him as a homie. You know what I'm saying? Because I had talked to him that morning and was like, what we finna do? Because he had been in the hospital and he was supposed to come back to Atlanta and teach an advanced growth class. So I was like, you know, what we about to do? So he was like, while I was in the hospital, all my mushrooms messed up because nobody went down there and got them, so they got contaminated. He was like, I'm starting all the way over from fresh. And he was like, I don't know who was coming for me, but I was like, we finna go see him? Because you can take mushrooms and travel transdimensionally to a meetup point and confront your opposition or your enemy.
Absolutely.
And handle it there in warfare. And that's where most warfare is handled. That's what you see all these movies about. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what Dr. Strange.
One of the Doctor Strange movies, we're gonna suit up and go see them. So we would be like, all of us stay in different cities or states, and we say we're going in tonight on 10 grams of mushrooms at 10 o'clock on a Thursday night. And we're gonna meet at this particular place, and we're gonna see them jokers. They rape so-and-so, then we're gonna go over there and see them, and we're gonna make sure we get justice. We're gonna take Ma'at, we're gonna take Heru, we're gonna take Ogun, we're gonna take Harry Kahudi, we're gonna go see some folks this evening. And then we're gonna wake up in the morning and be like, hands free. Because they ain't, you know what I'm saying, you can't put nothing on me. So that was at 11 o'clock that morning, we talked for like 22 minutes. At 3:35, he gone. You know what I'm saying? 4 o'clock, I get the message. I'm all hot and bothered. And so this particular part of where this clip comes from, when he says, I had to spend 3 lonely nights in the grave with my teacher to get the last lessons. Something I talked about yesterday is, what is a qualified student? We as black people, a qualified teacher. We as black people must start qualifying people before we just say, yes, I'm gonna learn from you. Yes, I'm gonna dump my money into your pocket. What's your lineage? Where's your lineage? Where are you from? What are you talking about? What do you represent? Otherwise, you get on somewhere. But I want to be tied to some real current, which is real currency. I don't want to be just tied to you just came up with it and you don't ever respect your teacher, you don't ever mention your teacher, you don't know what your background is. Now you want us to, get with you. So Baba Kilindi had a super strong lineage, and I was a little nervous when it first started because it was like this many people was in here. That's like this was it. And I was just like, man, I'm gonna be embarrassed. Like, whoa, nobody came tonight. I did all this advertising and nobody. I said, I sold the tickets. Where's everybody at? Then I went up here and I just looked and I was just like, And then as the joint pans, you'll see that it was a packed house. So I'm not really even showing this so you can like catch the lesson. I'm just showing it because we want to show like it was packed all the way in the back, all the way in the little cubicle, and people was leaning all through this doorway trying to hear. You know what I'm saying? Because he was answering like every question that folks had, and he was just drawing the mushrooms like how they are really the originators of our civilization and what happens on the journey.
And this ain't the trick. This is on the way to the trick.
Now, what black person gonna come to us and tell us about a subatomic trip? Every time we go look up mushrooms somewhere on the internet, it don't look like us. It's a white person or somebody look like it's normally a culture vulture is what I call them, because they don't have mushrooms indigenously where they from. But they got the game locked down like we the experts. Again, they did it with the cannabis, like they created marijuana. There ain't no marijuana plants in the Caucasus Mountains. It's like, it's slim through the Caucasus. It ain't nothing through there. It's barren. Ain't no technology through there. It's never produced nothing in history. And we can go and be like, this comes from the Caucasus Mountains. They always recycling, right? And so my thing is, the more people that we have taking mushrooms, having this experience, and raising our level of awareness and our exploration into consciousness, and the next generation will be able to learn from us. I want to learn from a black neurologist. I want to learn from a black business owner. I want to learn from a black astrologer. I want to learn Chinese from a black man. I want to learn French from a black woman. I want to learn all these things from some, and it's already been scientifically proven, all the other cultures learn like that. The Chinese learn French from Chinese. They learn Spanish from Chinese. Because it's just something about the gene pool, something about the magic, right? Okay, let me move to this next one. Because I just want to be like, yo, let me just introduce Baba in the way to me that, Cause I was just looking at them last night too, so I already got like a little small playlist. Oh my goodness.
Mushrooms, everybody has their own sensibility through experiment.
This is February 9th, so this is 18 days before he came to Atlanta in 2020. And it's a room full of white people.
And with each of the different compounds, you find basically what you.
Well, look at the title first. Hold on, Paul. Let's go ahead and give him his. Accessing comedic subquantum intelligence through hallucinogens. Who gonna teach this? Assessing comedic subquantum intelligence through hallucinogens. Am I gonna wait for the European to show me this? He know it exists though, cause he watched everything Baba do. They done stopped Baba in like coming out of Australia, was asking him about stuff he had going on in Detroit. Interpol. Why would Interpol stop you in Australia? And already, got your government name, know that you had an interaction with the police, and then asking you what you're doing in Australia. That's quite interesting. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's passing through, all of a sudden y'all tap me on the shoulder, be like, come here. I know I stand out like a black man passing through here with an American passport. What y'all doing?
Have an affinity for them. Mine is mushrooms, and I think all the other ones are great. If you're in those spaces, you have my full support. They look at me as the high dose guy. I'm always talking about high dose. Well, actually, I'm just really talking about dosing. They deemed it the high dose because Terence McKenna said 5 grams was the heroic dose. When I was talking about more than that, there was some pushbacks and, things like that. Well, you're really extreme, nobody should ever take more than 5 grams. But I'm of the persuasion that mushrooms, well, number one, you can't kill yourself with it. You can get killed on it. In other words, you can eat some mushrooms and, maybe fall off the cliff. You take a bunch of mushrooms, sit on the top of the mountain or something like that, and you're too close to the edge, you have navigational difficulties to slip off. But that's not the mushroom's fault. That's just, you weren't being responsible the way you were, because setting is still all part of it. You want to be in a good setting, and you want to have a good mindset. My whole thing, my place of choice for excursions is my bed. So if I fall, I'll just fall from the bed to the floor. And I've done that without mushrooms. So that's my place of choice, And I've done mushrooms in many different venues and ways and stuff like that, different continents, with groups, without groups, with one person, I made love on mushrooms, all those different types of things. So, but when I do the real work of exploration, my push and the way that I include myself into the psychedelic space is that the first and foremost purpose of the mushroom is the exploration of consciousness, to be able to explore your consciousness. Secondary matters are the psychological, the medicinal, and others, which are purposeful and valid. But once you deal with your, whatever it is, post-traumatic stress disease or depression or whatever, then what with the entheogen? Then what with the mushroom? What do you do from there? If you go and continue to do it, you can only get undepressed once. Of course, if you can go back into depression, what I'm saying is that once you deal with your depression, your childhood trauma, what difficulties you had with your mother, what your father didn't do, all these type of things, and what's next. So mushrooms at medicinal doses can deal with those things, help you work your way through those particular things that you may have in your way that is stopping you from growing. And then, it's a wide open field. You're open to be able to utilize these compounds for the exploration of consciousness, to go where no one has gone before, to see those things that no one has ever saw before.
Who, like, why is nobody telling us that we're supposed to be exploring our consciousness? That's what everybody's saying though, when they say knowledge of self, self-mastery, all these things, but what does that mean? You just parroting saying that. How are you exploring? How are you going into the exploration of your own consciousness? Number one thing, well, we already know if I go into my consciousness, I start messing with y'all and start learning the numbers and eating right and healing myself and breathing right and getting my relationships right, and then I got free time to go into my consciousness, then I ain't gonna be a puppet. I'm absolutely gonna stop voting because I'm sovereign and I already done figured out how to handle it myself. The family and community that came together. I ain't asking you to give me no reparations or no land. My intelligence is gonna go crazy because I didn't explore my consciousness. So the enemy of exploring your consciousness only has to feed you one thing: its agenda. As long as I feed you an agenda that's outside of yours, I got you. And what is that called? A distraction. So as long as how do distractions get inside of your consciousness? Through someone else's agenda. What's our number? So now I'm like, man, nobody can get into my agenda. Yes, they can, because you scroll. Watch this.
Trouble your voice.
You see that? Look at that. This is somebody's agenda. This is somebody's agenda. This is somebody's agenda. Watch this video. Watch this video. I ain't even looking. I'm just scrolling. Watch this video. They trying to push their agenda on me. Here are some, according to what you just watched, let's suggest that you watch something else. Where's the video that says watch yourself? Where's the video that says be quiet, turn me off, don't take no more suggestions from me, unplug from my agenda, and then go inside for yourself for at least 6 to 8 minutes? Most people can't do that, especially black people. You can't stay off of Instagram, you can't stay off of capping, or clapping, or clout chasing, or want somebody to see us, which is the agenda of the sinister. Because you'll never be able to go in and focus as long as you are on somebody else's agenda. But as he said, go in on a lonely Friday or Saturday night, alone, on a medicinal dosage. You catch that, how you say that? 5 grams, 7 grams, and 9 grams is a medicinal dosage. But every place else you type in 5 grams of mushrooms, it's gonna be white people like, oh Lord have mercy, oh, he gonna death, oh! But you ain't got no black people talking about 5 grams, bro. I'm on 10, I'm on 15, I'm on 30, I'm on 40. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody in the room that's done 30 grams of dried mushrooms. Good gracious, right? You know what I'm saying? Kilindi was doing 40, 30, 40, and 50.
Every 28 days.
No. When you go on a voyage like that, you're gonna need some months to rest. Yeah, but you just put 28 days in, and it's a minimum of 28 days before you go again. So you could go today, April the 11th, and not go again till July. But you can't go today and then go Wednesday. Can't do
You
that.
ain't gonna be back yet.
Right, and you will not have good you will start to build a tolerance level, and they won't be able to fully go into your system. It's just like you can't get a pap smear every week. I don't think you can. They'll be like, you just left. Ain't really too much happened. You know what I'm saying? Like since last time, like you go to the gynecologist, they be like, I'll be back Thursday. Why? You make an appointment, but you can't come right back. You know what I'm saying? So same thing. These things take time in our system to pass through our system. But the key is when you're in ceremony on the mushrooms, your cells, you have 76 trillion cells. Each cell has a magnet in it, and it has a memory. So these cells are remembering what happened in your ceremony. But your conscious mind is not, because the conscious mind is so distracted by agendas, other agendas and things like that, right? So when you get distracted, then your cells have to come and say, remember something happened in the ceremony? This thing is dealing with your mama, this thing dealing with your daddy. Remember you got raped, but you pushed it all the way down, or you got sexually traumatized, and that's got to come up. We need to deal with this so you can move forward and have a better life, right? So after the ceremony is the journey. Ceremony is when you are on these mushrooms for 5 to 6 hours at a high level, looking down at the situation that you've been looking up at. Like I said yesterday, you're either gonna be the turtle or you're gonna be the giraffe. I'd rather take the giraffe's perspective. He moves faster and he can see the plane. Yo, just another 100 yards, bro. And then we have miles of clear space. What's the turtle saying? Nigga, you crazy. I cannot go any further. It's just too far. It's just too far. The giraffe be like, turtle, can you trust me? And turtle be like, why should I trust you? I don't see nothing but bush. It's just thick down here. And that's how we are. They got us thinking like turtles. But then what's higher than a giraffe? A hawk. What's the hawk in ancient Egypt? Heru. But how did Heru lose his eye? He got emotional. Then how did he win the fight though? He goes and sees Tahuti and gets some what? Wisdom, the devil. You know what I'm saying? They be thinking this is the west side. I say this is wisdom. You gotta go get you the wisdom of the oracle so you can defeat your demons. That's the whole premise of that particular story of Heru avenging his father against his uncle. The uncle is still his relative. Ooh, because it was his uncle that set his own brother up. That's still going on right now. I ain't really nobody talking about that.
Exactly what it is. Yeah.
His own brothers was the one who set him up. Came in there and said, I got this coffin for you. You know, when you die, we'll put you in it. Why don't you just go ahead and try it out right now? His brother's like, my own brother absolutely would not set me up.
Right.
So that's one of the first sellouts. That's one of the greatest sellouts in history, not story, but we're gonna look at it like that. So anyway, the day after your ceremony, your cells are interacting with other people. So that's 76 trillion cells interacting with 76 trillion, 76 trillion, 76 trillion, 76 trillion, and maybe some of his cells need some of my cells to tell him about mushrooms. Just to give him just a little trigger. You know what I'm saying? And so this is why I called today Bob Tell Me a Story. Because he had a program as well on the blog talk called, you type in Kilindi. I'm doing this so y'all can send our phone how easy it is for y'all to find. Oops. Of course I meant that. Life after death, becoming an ancestor. 3 hours of pure heat. And I'm talking about our introduction probably will be 10, 15 minutes long. But like as soon as he comes on, one of the first things he said is, just because somebody died don't mean they're supposed to be on your altar. Just because they're your relative don't mean they're supposed to be on your altar. It don't make you an ancestor just because you died. He was like, what did you do here to deserve to be on somebody's altar? Because you was a piece of shit over here, and you think that just because death came, I just got washed down through the blood, through the forgiveness God, you still practicing white Jesus-isms, right? So you was a piece of shit here, you passed, you was a piece of shit on the other side. Why you should be on my altar? I don't want to put no feces on my altar beside somebody who was honorable. You know what I'm saying? I got honorable people on my altar who gave their best to me. So why would I put somebody on there who always was a distraction, didn't do nothing for the community, wasn't contributing? So I highly, highly, highly suggest this particular episode right here about becoming an ancestor. Like if I need to get emotional about something, then it's a what, Tyrone? Episode 10. So it's that self, that God man with the protection. You know what I'm saying? This one of my numerology teachers right here. So I have to give them big shouts out. I take the fundamentals. I'm a fundamentalist myself. The advanced stuff. I just like to listen to y'all talk and just be like, that's interesting, and just keep it moving. But so yes, becoming an ancestor. We had another. I would suggest that everybody starts, if you just type in episode 1, just type in Kilindi Lyi, episode 1 blog talk. Yeah, all these on Google. All you gotta do is just Google it. Yeah, because I used to be known as Coach K or Coach Kai here, so it's gonna say Coach K Radio, The Journey of the Spiritual Warrior. Kilindi had his own channel too, which was and he called it, yes it is. Yes it is. It was called the Entheogenic Explorer. So boom, it's very important that us as black people get away from using the word psychedelic, because Ronald Reagan came up with psychedelic for war on drugs to program your mind to think that anybody doing psychedelics was a bad person or going to hell or whatever. The proper term is entheogen. So entheogenic, the root word of entheogenic is theos. Theos is Greek for God. So anytime that you're having a God-like experience on something that came from the earth, you're dealing with an entheogen. But they are not all the same. That's what I really have to get into is mushrooms and weed ain't the same, black people. Please stop comparing them. There's no comparing them whatsoever at all, that what you experience with marijuana and what you experience with entheogens is anywhere close to the same. And one of the main reasons is because entheogens, marijuana, you can get away with being disrespectful for quite a while. You can just be disrespectful to the weed, smoke every day, you know what I'm saying, whatever, and slowly something, things, because they start losing focus, you tear a hole in your aura. Most people don't know that if you smoke all the time for nothing, you really are creating a cloak over what the real problem is. You can't do this with entheogens, not high level, because they don't play that. Because they will respond with the quickness. So when you hear somebody saying they had a bad trip on mushrooms, it's because they was disrespectful. So what is the nature of a culture vulture? Disrespect. So all you're doing is hearing a testimony of somebody who's disrespectful. So that's why you had a bad trip, because this entheogen was like, I don't bow down to your God, I don't bow down to your way, I don't bow down to your stuff. So I'm gonna protect myself. Anything been on the planet 4 billion years has a built-in protection system. That's why I say about real good marijuana. It's got a gag defense on it. Some regular weed, you can just be like, but somebody have to remind you to pass the blunt, right? They have to remind you to pass that. Pass, nigga. You go out to California, get some of that gas. Somebody. Hold that. Hey, hit it again, it's puff pass. No. Straight. You ready to drink your own urine therapy. You're trying to be a urine therapist immediately. Just so you get something on your chest. Because that loud gas had a defense mechanism on it. Like, who you walking up on?
Respect.
Show me some respect. So the mushrooms and the higher level entheogens carry the same wish a nigga would attitude. That's how you know it's from us. You know what I'm saying? That's also one thing I talked about yesterday when you are picking a teacher. When I look back at the history of my teachers, every one of them has a small fraction of a wish a nigga would a part of their personality. And they are so peaceful. Dr. Gibson, Sunyata, Kilindi, Abby Ilias, the list goes on and on. Dr. Nardi, I'm talking about this so respectful. Just Tyrain, he just is cool. This dude got a real estate license. Put on a tie, he look totally different. Totally, he be totally suited up. Kevin, he on the phone. I be like, who is this? I'm listening to him close the deal on the phone like, bruh, you got a whole total white voice. But disrespect him one time. And the whole I was wishing this nigga would disrespect me. Come right up. And he get right into it. That's how these high level entheogens, and so mushrooms at a higher level, which Bob is calling a medicinal level. Because the white man tried to take hero's dose. But he already took hero from what word? Heru. He already knows. You already still. I mean, yeah. You a vulture. You're a vulture. You wait on us to turn our backs, and then you come down and swoop it off the plate, out our mouth. You getting it off the stove before it hit the ground sometimes. But that also shows how abundant we are. We have so much stuff that, you know what I'm saying, y'all just, go ahead, man. Because that's how we are by nature. We was growing the marijuana to share it. We was having great irrigation system to share it. But now what are they doing? We gotta get some money out for this. But ain't nothing wrong with getting bags. I am a Taurus. I'm also a, I have all my stuff says about the bag, but also about spirituality as well. So please look up Kilindi's blog talk show and story. This is number one. The story of the Matrix and the mushroom. That's part 2. There it is. The story of the magic mushroom. Who, what, when, where, and how. So this, and you see what I put it up under? Technology. Because Kilindi was like, the mushrooms is a mnemonic memory device designed to help us remember who we are when we decide to explore our consciousness. We are the Jason Bournes. We are the Bourne supremacies. Has y'all seen the white lady was she thought she was an elementary school teacher. And then she was an assassin. Samuel Jackson was in
Long Kiss.
Long Kiss Goodnight. Come on back there. $5 for him. $5 for the brother in the back. Long Kiss Goodnight. You know what I'm saying? She thought she was a elementary school teacher. And come find out, what was her favorite move? Snapping necks. She could shoot. She was good with the knife. But her favorite move was getting up close to you and pop, snap your neck. And she was wondering, like, where all these skills come from? Because remember, she got in an auto accident, and now her memory starts to come back. That's us now. We done had some accidents, and we done had bumped in the head with some things, whether it's Black Lives Matter or somebody killing us or whatever it is. All of a sudden, we're trying to wake up a little bit. Certain skills is coming to the surface. And now you can see who got integrity, who don't got integrity. Because skill set and magic don't matter whether you got integrity or not. They just want to know how you're going to use me. So the technology piece is because it will take high tech in order to send mushrooms down here with all of our memories and the ability to reactivate latent possibilities inside of us billions of years later. Because the mushrooms came here on the back of meteorites billions of years ago. So anybody know what does dirt come from? It's a great question. Where did dirt come from? Anybody? You was here yesterday. You can't answer. Dirt come from rocks. Rocks get broken down into dirt. You take a rock and beat it up, you're gonna get dirt. So what turned the rock into dirt? Fungi, which is a mushroom. The mushroom came down here 3 billion years before humans, because it had to create the environment for us to live. What must we have that comes out of dirt in order for us to stay here? Trees. Because trees give off oxygen that we take in. Trees need us. We give off carbon dioxide. So now it's a contract. So for the contract to be set up, there had to be some dirt for it to grow. And it came from underground, which is where the mycelium network is at. It's the largest network in the world. And you type in mycelium wallet, you're gonna get cryptocurrency. Why is one of the oldest Bitcoin wallets on the internet called the mycelium wallet? One more time.
Right.
Ain't that something?
Right.
Somebody knows something
Right.
that they ain't telling us.
Right.
Because we still stuck on, I have to say it, incense and shea butter. You know what I'm saying? What nationality I am. You can't pull me over. I got these rights. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And where's your technology at though? Where your bag at? You so smart. You know what I'm saying? Where's your stuff? It ain't got to be land anyway. You can have some tech. You got about 3 apps. You could have created Uber. Anybody in this room could have created Uber. Do they own any land? Nope. Y'all know what I'm gonna say next? How much real estate does Airbnb own? Zero.
None.
None. What were they using? Technology. That's why I put the story of the magic mushroom under this right here. So when this, in 3 years, when this turns into a 5, and people like, oh, 5 years ago this was already out there, somebody gonna want to be like, why did he put this up on the technology? Because it's not a plant. Mushrooms is not plant medicine. Plants don't breathe oxygen. Mushrooms do. Like who else breathes oxygen besides mushrooms? Oh, humans. So that's why we so closely related to the mushrooms, because it is a organic nanobite. Y'all worrying about Elon Musk putting a chip in your head or getting a virus shot that's got nanobites that can come in and get into your bloodstream. Well, that ain't nothing new under the sun. Where they get that idea from? Oh, my bad. Magic mushrooms. This is the first organic nanobite in history, period. That's why you fast the day that you're gonna take the mushrooms. So now you got a relatively clean hard drive. Now, how do we clean computers? We put something in there and say, go find the virus. These mushrooms gonna go down in there, and if you ask the computer, before you plug something in there, say, computer, you're running really slow and your processor seems to be broken. Can you tell me where the problem is at? The computer's gonna be like, go to this porn site. It's gonna tell you whatever. This is gonna give you more of the virus. So asking a person who's not on mushrooms, what's your real problem, son? You my real problem. Well, such and such, the white man my real problem, blah, blah, blah. He's not gonna tell you what the real problem is, because you on the outside. And you can't climb down his throat and mix in with his secrets. And where's his secrets at? Inside of his cells. Because your cells contain all your memories. So now you take the mushrooms on an empty stomach, on a late night, Friday or Saturday night, alone in a dark room, they're gonna go down there into your abdominal brain, which has more neuroreceptors than your mind does. And they're gonna go and see where the real virus is at. Oh, you got issues with such and such because this happened this time. All right, team, we got enough gas in the tank, 5 grams, or 7 grams, or 9 grams, or 30 grams. We finna shoot over here and work on this tonight. How many of y'all been, why don't they do construction on 85 in the daytime? Because it'll slow money up, They do construction at night. They do construction at night when there's less traffic. So jokers who wanna take mushrooms in the daytime, you ain't gonna get no damn breakthrough. It's too much traffic. Too many distractions, too much agenda, too much light. The mushroom is in an unfamiliar place. I just got finished saying the mycelium network is where class? And what color is that, y'all? The dumbest person in the world knows it's dark, it's black. Anybody, am I wrong? Somebody stop me now. I know it's like the beginning of my colleges. Is it black or dark, or is it white underneath this ground? It's black. You know what I'm saying? Just put your camera down there and throw some dirt on it. You'll see what this shit look like. Darkness. Eddie Murphy, right? So that's why we do this work at nighttime. So why don't we want to do it? So why do so many black people do it in the daytime? Because we see so many of the imposters and the culture vultures on YouTube telling us what they did. And then we go along and just want to do them. And then we start parroting, because we can hear a song and freestyle it and do it. So we start saying what they say. I want to be at one with nature. I can hear the ocean so much more. The flowers have so much more brilliant colors. And they're really saying that I'm honoring all my distractions. I don't want to work on myself. I'm going to use the ocean as an excuse. Nobody does anything bigger and better than black people on planet Earth. So when we make an excuse, that shit way over the top. A pathological liar that's a black person is way worse than a pathological liar that's a white person. Because we be like, bro, you got so much that. You ain't got to, come on, bro. You can just tell the truth and get some shit out of it. Why you got to lie like that? I ain't lying. He won't even say he's sorry. You know what I'm saying? Won't even try to change the story. He go to a deeper excuse because you don't want to deal with yourself. And that's us. We done become so insensitive to dealing with ourselves that we're not embracing no technology. All we're embracing is arguments. How I want to feel. But you go in on a lonely night with these magic mushrooms, Oh, the same way. I can stay right inside of here. Kilindi Lyi. Give me that. Give me that beat, fool. This is a full-time Jack move. This episode right here really messed my head up. Why? Because I've been rocking with the Metu Netter 1 in the Saadiqs Society since '89. That's how I first got knowledge itself. Messing with the Saadiqs and the 5% at North Carolina A&T State University, and we wanted a Black History Club. So the Metu Netter for me been like a Bible. So then all of a sudden, Baba Kilindi says, "Oh, the Metu Netter is not a language. It's not something written on the walls. It is a body of people that if you take 20 grams of mushrooms, they will come off the wall and teach you. They'll come off the wall, and it won't be no, I think, or maybe, or let's set up a debate between me and Tyrain about what he said. You know, let's do a polite setting thing and just sell some tickets so y'all can damn see us waste 5 or 6 hours of the community's time, and let's videotape it, and then let's try to go viral on let a couple 100,000 people. Let them waste a couple of hours with us too. Same 6 hours, you could have damn done what? Drop you some mushrooms. Just drop you 7 grams. Damn. Go get you a little $6 piece of papyrus, put it up on the wall, and at some point of that night, you know what I'm saying, remember to open your eyes and try to get over there and stare into that. I bet anybody $1 to $1,000 it ain't the same thing as before when you was looking at it, because I done it. I ain't done 20 grams and looked at it, but I promise you things don't sit still like this when you on mushrooms. They take on because you are in another dimension that you realize. Everybody in here is in another dimension right now. We exist in at least 8 other dimensions simultaneously at all times. But we asleep to it because we've been trained that for the brain to keep on putting up defenses, which is what I call, we have our windows rolled up. When you take magic mushrooms, the windows roll down. Y'all ever been driving high speed and the car's all quiet, and then you hit all 4 buttons to go down at the same time? Who ever done that before? Hit at least the front 2 buttons. Let's just put the windows down at the same time. How the atmosphere of the car changes. What is going on? When we put the windows down, that's what the mushroom does. It let reality in. When there ain't no mushrooms, you're dealing with illusion. That's why I said when I closed my eyes and I seen reality, I was like, wow. And I opened my eyes, things stopped moving. Things appeared to be sitting still. And I was like, this is some bullshit. And I closed my eyes and they was like, welcome back. Oh, wait a minute. What you mean? I'm talking about there was no pause at all. We went right into the get down. So this particular episode right here, number 5, changed me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to keep my follow up on my man Tyrain. You know what I'm saying? 5 changed, gave me some freedom. You know, this was how I was looking at some stuff that I had, right? I gotta introduce y'all. So for those of y'all that came in late, thank y'all. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because Baba Kilindi was here. He transitioned 366 days ago, February 29th. He was here teaching classes, and yesterday I was talking about him, but today I prefer to have him tell me a story and tell y'all a story. So he just said, yo, mushrooms are for exploring your consciousness, right? Now, what's coming right now is this whole
someone that was unrecognizable.
war on drugs. Kilindi Lyi discusses the war on drugs and the changing of consciousness. Why we wasn't in this class? Let's just pause for a second and just think about our present condition. Why was he teaching this in a room full of white people? Because they was the ones who was paying him and say, yo, we want to hear about this. You know what I'm saying? He got so much footage that they have taken of him that he don't even have access to. These are just videos I pulled down when he passed. I went and pulled 70 videos down. Like talking to people who traveled with him, like, yo, we've been going places for years. There was always a camera in the room. And they was like, we'll send you the footage. And you'll never get it. What they doing with his footage? You see what I'm saying? Why is he talking about the war on drugs and the changing of consciousness and we ain't there? This is recent history too. Now this ain't an old Bobby Hemmitt video. Everybody knows where he was at February 9th, 2020. This right before COVID came and just switched the whole situation up. You see what I'm saying?
You know, while Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon, you know, started the war, or basically the war on drugs, was because it changed consciousness. It changed Wally and Beaver Cleaver into unrecognizable right across the bay, you know, because they walked in the high dash area, they had on penny loafer shoes with the pennies in the loafer. They had on white shirts, button-up shirts, crew-cut hair. When they said go to war, they said, my country right or wrong. Whatever the sergeant said do, we'll go forward. If that means shooting up a bunch of kids and some women sitting in the hut someplace, that's what we're going to do. And it took that same person. They no longer had penny loafer shoes. They were barefoot. They didn't have no shirt. They grew their hair long like a girl. And when they said, go to war and shoot some people, they said, peace, man. Love. I don't want no war. What did the Vietnam do to me? I didn't know what Vietnam is. I'm gonna burn my draft car. Women were sticking flowers in the barrels of the guns of the soldiers that were standing there ready to shoot them. Because they had taken it inside of them. They were still Wally and Beaver Cleaver. They were still Ricky and David Nelson. Because it changed the way people viewed the world, and it changed consciousness. That scared the old guard. The old guard is not going to be so brilliant that we are getting this legislation through and cannabis is now legal in the city of Detroit recreationally. It's not going to be so smart and that we can write better than people did in the past and all those different type of things. It's that the old guard's moving out. The people in the legislation now, you probably can't find one that ain't smoked some bud. That's why they saying, okay, well, let's let this go through because, you know, it's nothing but weed. So you got people who are in the councils of cities who are the straight-laced folks who know that when they get home, they, you know, have a talking to. And they say, okay, it ain't no big deal. We got other fish to fry. The last three presidents said, well, yeah, I smoked, but I didn't have. You know, I was just trying to, you know, be one of the guys. And hold it in your cheeks. No, but because it changed consciousness. It made people think different, made people act different. The summer of love scared them, you know. You got a white ex-Marine and his wife who wears an apron, bakes cookies and pies, and that daughter goes away and becomes pregnant. And they ask her who, and she said, I don't know. Well, what's the baby's name? Moonbeam? You mean to tell me you named my grandchild Moonbeam? Moonbeam? Rainbow Johnson. It scared them, but they died out now. You still have people probably 2 or 3 from 1967 because it changed consciousness.
So this thing about the old guard dying out, cannabis is now probably in over 25 states. Mushrooms and psychedelics, entheogens have been decriminalized, I think about 7 to 12 cities across the country, right? And we know that cannabis was a gold rush. How much of it did we get? Little to none. we know that mushroom, so now we know, now I'm telling y'all because you don't know. Everybody that made bread in the cannabis game knows that these laws are coming everybody knows about decriminalizing nature.
DC and Oregon.
Oregon, whole state legal now. You can have some heroin and cocaine. And the police be like, you know, slow down, you're driving too fast. Washington, D.C. just got decrim. Now there's a difference between legalization and decriminalization. If marijuana would have been decriminalized, they couldn't stop Freddie from selling weed on Camerton Road. So that's like him selling onions and lemons. But now that it's legal, he got to pay a tax on every dollar he made selling these lemons or tomatoes. So we don't want legalization of mushrooms or peyote or toad or none of this, no nature. We don't want no nature to be legalized. Because then you can put a tax on it and then tell me I'm a criminal now because I broke the law again. God damn. First off, it was illegal to sell it. I called a charge. Now it's legal to sell it and I'm still catching a charge? Well, yeah, you don't have $200,000 to have a license.
Right.
Excuse me? The license to get in is $500,000 or better. So now all the cannabis folks that don't look like y'all sees this and they're like, oh my goodness, it's getting ready to be crazy right here. Oh yeah, look at these folks right here. But these some rape victims too. They got raped too. That land was taken as well as promises made to them that wasn't kept. They used to sell sage. You know what I'm saying? Y'all give us a casino and some liquor and we'll call it even. Or just give us a check. That's not what we want. So this is the new gold rush that's coming. So yesterday, I'm gonna just repeat that class. What industries were created out of the gold rush?
Can I say?
Yeah.
Okay, so the cart, you know, pulling the cart from the mining, well, you said mining wasn't like that big of a deal, but they were out of it. Of course, the train, we had to get it all around.
So, because you had to wash your
We
butt.
had to wash it.
Whorehouse.
Yeah.
Because you ever want sex. Liquor, glasses. Straight razor because you had to shave. Then somebody stole my gold when I came out the mine.
Oh yeah, so pistols and ammunition and all that.
The steel industry, the leather industry. I needed more boots. I had to put some horseshoes. So the iron industry, everybody need iron now. Just because of the gold industry. Jokers is dying, ain't even getting no gold, and all of these other industries are flourishing. Including who? Bell South or the Telegram. We didn't need no communication until somebody out west needed to send a telegram back to be like, I'm rich, or I ain't coming home, or how much money do you need me to send? So the communication was an entire industry started because of a need. So now, what happens when you grow mushrooms? What's your enemy? Contamination. So what do we use to clean up and when we grow our own mushrooms? Alcohol. Cheap alcohol I can get right there at Family Dollar, right? Now, how do I apply the alcohol? I can put napkins down, or I can put it in a spray bottle and spray it. Somebody has a patent. Somebody's gonna come up with a patent for a new spray bottle that sprays a special mist of the same cheap ass alcohol I give at Family Dollar. And now he's gonna make a couple $1 million because he's selling the bottle for $2.50 and he getting it made in China for 45 cents. And he don't even grow mushrooms. But everybody who grow mushrooms is buying his bottle because he said this will help you stop contamination. You can grow more mushrooms. Guess who else gonna make some money? Jokers who make scales. Because when you go buy some marijuana, none of y'all probably don't, you know what I'm saying? I know anybody in here, but this is from what I heard. When you go buy some marijuana, you know, I've heard that the guy who's selling it puts it on a scale. So you can know how much you're getting. So mushrooms is the same way, it's dose specific. He ain't gonna, has anybody here went to the weed man and said, I'm gonna give you $10 and he just went down the bag, grabbed it and gave it to you? No. He always knew exactly how much you was getting. It was already bagged up. He got him on the scale and said, this is for you for the night. This is yours. And you might have haggled and was like, come on man, put some more weed in there. What's all them sticks and seeds too? Yeah, I don't smoke that. So something is coming. Now, the big piece for me is what they did with Decrim Nature wrote something. I can put it up. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Who do the money dance? Come on, everybody. How many of y'all been talking about Black Wall Street? You heard Black Wall Street? You heard Black Economics? You know what I'm saying? You heard Buy Black, which I feel is stupid. I'm gonna go ahead and say why that's Buy Black is stupid because it's a consumer policy when everybody else has a selling policy. So here's the secret to Black Wall Street, right? This helped me. I actually got it from Malachi York. But ain't nobody repeated it in 20 years, so I'm gonna help y'all. It's not buy from one another. That's only 2/3 of it. Buy from one another and sell to everyone else. Where has this been successful at? The Jews, they buy from one another, they sell to all of y'all. The Chinese, they buy from one another, they sell to all of y'all. The Asians, they buy from one another, they sell to all of y'all. The Mexicans, they buy from one another. The Indians, they buy from one another. And then here we come, what's your boy name? All these old guards who now want to be popular and want to say, buy black is the way for us to win. You jerk. There's not enough blacks around here for if we all buy with one another for us to be billionaires. Not even millionaires. Why we don't have a strategy to sell to everyone else? It's pretty simple. You know what I'm saying? If I ask Big Bro, he got a restaurant and liquor. You think he got a liquor license to only sell to black people? He can refuse service, but he won't. His doors is open to sell to everybody. We don't have a strategy to sell to anybody because we're so consumed with consuming. And when you consume a lot, what do a lot? Shit. And that's where we at. We in a shitty place because we consume so much. This stands for Oakland City Health Initiative. Everybody knows what open source is. Open source is, I wrote a program and then you can write a program using the same program I wrote. It's open source. I ain't hiding and charging you for it, right? So so right now, Detroit is trying to decriminalize nature. So they're trying to get their city council to say, we want to take mushrooms and all other psychedelics and move it down to the lowest priority, lower than a parking ticket, right? And they're used, so they're taking the OC out and they're putting a D here. So it'll say Detroit City Health Initiative. Inside this health initiative is something on microeconomics. Come on, Mary, come on, somebody do the damn money shuffle across the stage, you know what I'm saying? This for everybody on the money shuffle now. In this health initiative, because it's unhealthy to be poor. Please somebody stop me when I'm lying. Is it healthy to be broke or poverty or want something and can't afford to go get it, especially your basics? Is it healthy? Then you do what? You get mental issues and you start doing crime against your own folks. Start snitching, you start doing all type of stuff, right? But to me, getting healthy is on the, I need money too. I can't just do a bunch of squats and lose weight and breathe right. I need something too. I need money for God's budget. If I'm God's child, I need God's budget. So in this health initiative, there's a section on that for me, Carlos and Larry, who put this together, have expertly just slid this in here like, you know, like you giving somebody like some cod liver or something that don't taste good, you put it inside something sweet and give it to the child, it's in there. So this part about the microeconomics, because if the legislation is supposed to protect the citizens. Right now the legislation is against the citizens. I need this thing decriminalized so when I have ceremonies or if I know how to grow mushrooms, I can go to my own business. They don't stop little JoJo from selling lemonade on the corner. Why little Raheem can't sell mushrooms? Or why grown-ass Raheem can't sell mushrooms? As a part of economic empowerment. This thing is about shifting economics. This is about shifting economics in the hood. What's the proof? The venture capital, so the first city that passed was in Denver.
Right.
There's over 200 venture capitalists that have filed in the psilocybin industry since they passed in 2018. So the culture vulture, the one with wide wings and large budget, is waiting just like they were for the cannabis, for this thing to go legal, so they can swoop in and wipe all the competition out. Because that's what's going to happen in the cannabis game. All of y'all can grow if you want, go grow hemp and all that. But when it get loose and go federal all the way across the board, what's your boys, R.J. Reynolds, tobacco industries is gonna come through and just buy you out. They're gonna throw so much money at you, you ain't never seen it before. They're gonna take all your troubles away. Your little farm might be doing 80 grand a month. You know what I'm saying? They offer you 75 million. There's no way in the world you're gonna turn that, your wife gonna let you turn that money down. You can sit there and talk about black pride and all that you want, and she gonna be like, nigga, I own half of this company too. I own half of this farm too, because I'm your wife. Yep. Where do we sign? He'll be signing tomorrow. We'll be down at the lawyer's office tomorrow. Yep. We will. Then they gonna get down and they gonna say, we're gonna give you 69 million. She gonna say, see that dummy? Sign that paper. And he gonna sign it. That's what's coming. So these venture capitalists are on the way to put your access to studying your consciousness in a chokehold at their footsteps. Because we still sitting around not paying attention because we saw some white people that said, I almost threw up. 5 grams is too much. What about the taste? Nigga, what about the industry? What about the industries? Last one, I'm getting off of here. Go type, this is my favorite right here, because it's all Google. Mushrooms. Anybody ever heard of Silicon? Damn, why is it coming up so fast? Not mushrooms in Silicon Valley. What? It's reported in the BBC that people in Silicon Valley are taking mushrooms, which is really a dose of psilocybin, an LSD type of drug. For example, $2,000 per month will get you your own psychedelic trip coach and guru. He'll guide you through mind-altering journeys. Silicon Valley is microdosing magic mushrooms to boost their careers. My eyes is messed up. But what's this say right here? What magazine is that about? What's that about?
Money.
I can't hear you.
Money.
Wait a minute, y'all just gonna look at y'all just gonna look here at this title and say this means money? Huh? So how did this article get into the Money magazine?
They said 2,000.
Black folks. Huh? What happened? So, wait a minute. Do this mean money right here? They just let you know. We're just gonna put it here in your face. You know what I'm saying? This is right here is a blatant what? What is this called? Niggas don't read.
Disrespect.
No, it ain't neither. Just disrespect is that is true. It's true that niggas ain't reading. I don't need to be reading Forbes because money is evil. It's just fiat. It ain't gonna be shit. It's gonna go. The government is gonna go bankrupt. China really owns us. Well, nigga, how's the damn Bitcoin at $60,000 then? Fool. Why is everybody else doing well and eating well and you still out here on government assistance? Waiting on and you don't even want a stimulus check. I don't need no $1,500 from nobody, but you won't pay me the $10 you owe me. It's Sunday, so I have to preach. I'm sorry. I ain't sorry either. Silicon Valley, this article, come on, I mean, I had to do it. Of course, y'all don't want me to damn subscribe, all that. Well, we won't be doing that. Y'all figure it out when you get to the house. Type in mushroom Silicon Valley. On your phone, it's going to tell you about how many things come up, but on your computer, it'll be a number here to tell you how many associated articles came with this search. Are magic mushrooms Silicon Valley's next bet? Wait a minute, what's this right here? What's that? Is this entertainment? Is this a psychedelic magazine? Is this a hip hop magazine? I mean, I'm not sure. I don't read it. What's this magazine about? Anybody? Huh?
Money.
It's about money. Why are they talking about magic mushrooms in Silicon Valley in Fortune magazine? Why would they do that? They got all this. You mean to tell me somebody researched it, took it to the editor and said, I want to run this story, and the editor of Fortune magazine said, green light. Damn. Niggas don't read. Does microdosing magic mushrooms actually work? Experts weigh in. I bet you ain't no white people on that video. Why Silicon Valley is turned into magic mushrooms by Matt, whoever. My particular site of choice, if you want to catch up the fastest, is this bad boy right here. Reality Sandwich. They go so ham on they're back to talking about cannabis, how to deal with death, psychedelic help, legendary LSD blotter, ketamine for addiction, how to store ketamine. But when they was so today it's a bunch of ketamine stuff going on here. But if you go on the site, wherever the search button is at,
Question. Got a question.
yes, go ahead.
Have you read the book How to Change Your Mind?
No.
I bought the copy in airport. It's a New York bestseller, but it's all about psychedelics, how to help with depression and death from a kind of a medical perspective, and how they extracted it. I guess in the 60s, they took it out of it being a mental health drug, and so I haven't finished reading the book. I bought it maybe a year ago. I was in and out of it, but it's making me open it back up.
They've been doing this since the 60s.
Yeah.
So, any web designers in here? Okay, so let's talk about technology for a second. All right. So I'm holding when you hold your phone upright like this is called the first fold. It's the first thing that you see without having to scroll. So if I just scroll up here, now I'm in the second fold. The person who runs this website knows that this is going to get your attention. A graphic artist had to sit down and get paid to make this artwork right here to get your attention. Then it had to be green lighted for this particular article. Spotlight, the psilocybin solution, roller sacred mushrooms, the quest for meaning, guide to cooking with magic mushrooms, a foraging trip, where do magic mushrooms grow, how to dry magic mushrooms, best practices, quantum mechanics, reality and magic mushrooms. Chris Becker, why don't it say Kilindi Lyi? I wonder if he's white or black, y'all. Chris Becker. Huh? I got to wonder. You sure? The psilocybin experience. What's the deal with magic mushrooms? Is this the one Kilindi did? Nope. Oh. It do not say step by. Oh, you ain't lying. What? They telling you how to grow the magic mushroom? How many of your friends are on this site right here, Reality Sandwich? How many of y'all know a black friend? How many of y'all know 10 or 15 black? Come on, raise your hand. How many of y'all know 10 of black friends that are on Reality Sandwich? Tyrone said, I am. I'm gonna be your friend. I'm going over there right now. I'm going over there right now. We're not gonna keep playing this. Wait a minute. The capital of the United States said, let me turn it sideways because I may be reading it wrong. What did that say? No. This old, because you know why? It already passed. This history. It's a wrap. Yes. So what's coming next after decriminalization in the capital of the United States?
Yeah, DC.
You can get down and lay down, y'all. You can get down, or you can lay down as you get run over. Baba Kilindi said this last year, he was just like, yo, you got 18 to 24 months to get to put yourself in position. Because the ocean is coming. You can be a surfer. Me, I'm working on surfboards. I'm working on surfboards. I'm working on masks, oxygen things. I ain't worried about the water because it's coming. My name, don't call me Oli no more. Call me Unofficial. You know what Unofficial is? That's Noah's real name. The story of Noah and the ark comes from Unofficial. Right? So Unofficial was that first person that was like, yo, a big flood is coming and it's gonna renew everything. So I'm Noah right now. And I have some people that's like, can we get on the boat? Show me how to build my own boat. That's what I tell them. Because my boat ain't that big. I ain't taking 2 of every kind on my boat. Because I already know what y'all do historically. And I know what they do historically. So I'm only looking for like-minded individuals who want to boat build. The best thing to do right now is learn how to build a boat, right? Because I'm too old to learn the backstroke and the breaststroke and all that. Let me get a Oregon's initiative to legalize mushrooms. What does it say? 30 pages? Oh, wait a minute. How many of y'all ain't got 30 pages of results on ayahuasca addiction and the ego, drugs and redemption, this week in psychedelics, top 10 books on the new edge, uncovering the ancient science of sacred spaces. Why we ain't write these articles? What can entheogens teach us? They done stop using, just like I said, these jokers is, last one. You gotta be a researcher. No, I keep saying last one. Deep trim, Cambridge, Mass. Come on, man. So, I'm gonna go talk to Tyrane's wife and convince her that me and Tyrane go buy a crib in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Because Tyrane already got a realtor license, and he's about money. He's a numerologist. And if you think white people are stupid, then you're stupid. Because if they just passed to decriminalize psychedelics, what's his word? All controlled substances in Cambridge, right? What colleges are in Cambridge, Massachusetts? Harvard and MIT. Front row, $5 more. $5 more for these answers. What they about to do? They're already doing the happy dance. They had already went and told everybody in that city council, you know what we're voting, right? You know what we finna do, right? But we need you to vote this way, right? All on 3, make some money. 1, 2, 3, make some money! One more time, on 3, don't tell the niggas. 1, 2, 3, don't tell the niggas. On 3, this could be good for them, but we're gonna keep it to ourselves. This could be good for them, but we'll keep it to ourselves. The whole part is now, I could be Noah, but Noah didn't have Google. I'm just showing you stuff that you just, excuse me? This ain't like a long time ago, this last month. Woo, damn! You ain't even giving us a clue, look at that! Golly! Melanin! Damn! Can't take 5 grams though. You know if that's too much. I may lose my mind. You mean the most fucked up part about yourself you want to protect? The most fucked up part about yourself. How many of y'all how many men in here know where you go get some wound cleansing at for a woman? How many men in here know? All of us, we know, because it's everywhere. It's on the internet all over. You know how to go get some, a woman got issues with her wound. I know that it's an industry out there for that, right, brothers? We're not going, but we know, how big is it, brothers?
Huge. Huge.
Huge, right? Why the hell we don't know about this? That's at the low level. That's the lower base chakra. But we want to protect our minds. I may lose my mind. To me, you should want to take something as fast as possible to get your mind up out of here. to reset your mind, to restore your mind. I love this. A second. Tyrone, can we get some houses? I just want to do some Airbnb properties. Huh? You in? Can you see the math? You see the numbers? Okay. That's all. Because everybody keep talking about black people get into real estate, but they don't tell you where. What's top 3 rules of real estate?
Location.
Excuse me, what you say?
Location.
And if somebody disagree with you, they don't know real estate. The Airbnbs that's in Denver right now are smoke friendly. It says 420 friendly. So when I go to Denver to smoke bud, because it's legal, that's what I want to do.
Okay, thank you.
So Airbnb making money on the legalization of cannabis. And they don't even own no houses. Why don't we go to Cambridge and get us 3 black Suburbans, get 3 fine sisters, get their CDL license, and we just start a service where we pick you up from the airport, let you come to one of our 4 Airbnb properties, and you can pay us $2,000 to have a ceremony for you so you can have a breakthrough with your mental depression. Oh, and we licensed too, and we good. And, you know what I'm saying? This is about ingenuity, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We're always talking about X, Y, Z. How am I able to put all this stuff together? Just scroll back up. And that's it. You know, I mean, I wasn't a dummy before I started messing with this. You know what I'm saying? I was hot shit. Now I'm in fuego right now. I'm in fuego at this point right here. So, as far as personal, I'm an astrologer. I trade a little bit. Every aspect of my life has been rewired and upgraded since bringing this ancient technology back into the game. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't for everybody. This is something that you're interested in. I'm gonna definitely be sticking around so somebody can have some private conversations. Does anybody have comments and questions from the audience right now that you'd like to have? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What has been the most significant gain that you've seen personally from traveling and bringing back technology and making it applicable to right now?
So 2 of them. One person, the most personal for me was the relationship with my ancestors and me having a breakthrough, being able to heal. I got the answer to what my father's fucked up was. And I was able to go to a place and heal it. Like, that was major. You know what I said? That's who raised me. My mama left. So that was my nigga. He died from cancer. I didn't have the formula to help him. And so I went to a space, just like T'Challa went and seen his daddy. I went and seen my father and was able for him to communicate with me in a way that his pride and ego was not available. He would not let him communicate with me when he was in the living.
Right.
He communicated with me on where he needed healing at this point on the other side, and I was able to do that. So that's my most profound. That led into the second one, which was my own personal relationships with women. You know what I'm saying? Has probably improved 10,000% because the relationship with myself had to change, which was linked to what I saw growing up. But then all of a sudden I also understood it better because then I couldn't help but go back to the astrology chart and be like, I see what this means too. So me personally with my ancestors, and then the other one was my personal relationship with women.
So was that your intent when you went in?
Absolutely not.
So, no?
Absolutely not. Absolutely caught me all upside the head like somebody stole me with a baseball bat.
Really?
Was not ready. There's never been a time where I set an intention, went in with mushrooms and got the intention. Never. I always get what I need. So at this point, I go in empty and then I come out full.
So it's not good to have intentions going in?
No, because I'm gonna hold on to it. I'm gonna be trying to force. So I'm 50 years old. I'm gonna just say you 35, 37. You 37 years old, you've been on the planet 37 years, and you think you know what you want, and you hold on to it. And you're gonna add something that's 4 billion years old, that's traveled here through other galaxies, other wormholes, landing on other planets, has all the ancient knowledge of ancient Tamaray, ancient Atlantis, ancient Lemuria, has recorded every tidal wave every meteorite shower is in the fibers of this mushroom, and I'm gonna go in there and tell it what I need at 37 years old. And I'm gonna hold on to it as a black man and be like, no, no, no. They're going to bust my head.
That's that
When I go in
respect.
there, with the, what you say, brother?
That's that respect you gotta have.
Because I ain't
for it.
showing no respect.
Right.
Because I think I know better with 37 laps around the sun. I don't. That's my mind, not my ego. So when I go in and say, I'm empty, you've been watching me for the last 60, 90 days, 6 months. You already know what I know even better than me. I'm going to go in here and practice my Islam. I'm going to submit. I'm going to lay down here and submit.
That's it.
Now they see me being respectful. And how did you enter? What was the code to get into any ancient Kemetic temple? Integrity. That's it. All you had to have was integrity and honesty. They would let you in. It wasn't about my daddy was a doctor. I'm a thief though, but I lie. But my daddy got money, so let me in. That's how it works now. But then you was testing on your integrity. So I just go in with an empty cup. It was just like, for me, I hear that it's time for me to take it. I create the space. I go in. I get the assignment. When I come out, I work on that. Because it ain't cool when I go back that next time and I ain't done the assignment that they gave me. Because then they still like, you're back and you're asking for more when you ain't finished your breakfast first. So they big on that, finish your plate before you can get dessert.
What's the youngest age you recommend?
I say I know of a youngest age for 5 grams of mushrooms is definitely gonna be based on how I prep that particular person. I ain't gonna just be like, she got a daughter that's 15 and they should take mushrooms. I got to look at them and assess where they at. I do know personally of a sister, Dave Chappelle's chef is named Chef Nikki Stewart. She has 2 daughters. One of them is 14. She was having some mental issues when she was 12. We started microdosing her. And so with the stories that I've heard from her, if you think that your child needs mushrooms or got some mental issues, I would recommend starting them off with psilocybin at a microdose level, less than 0.3 grams, and watch and monitor to see the slow progress. Because what does microdosing do that macrodosing doesn't? Microdosing is helping repair the neuroplasticity of the brain. These fibers and all these things we got going the wrong way are being repaired on a subtle level. Macrodosing, when you go into the ceremony, it's just like, it's breathtaking. So like maybe a 15-year-old who's having some issues and struggling with some stuff, you might not want to go in on that. I do know that Brother Zosa got a 16-year-old. He just went in on 5 grams. And then he brought him over to the house, you know what I'm saying? And we was having a very good conversation from him. I'm super proud. What I say is I'm here to welcome people into the community. It's a new community of us coming back over here. And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be, I was 48 when I started. So I was very hesitant. I was very like, shit, crazy. I said, you ain't fucking with that. I ain't gonna do nothing. I drink water, you know what I'm saying? And get sunlight. I'm straight. But now, it's mine of choice. I've tried other things, but this right here is the most.
I want in.
You want in? You got one. You got 1 down from. You got 2 down from. You got 2. You got 2. You got 2. You got 3.
It's
You got 3. You
amazing.
got 4.
It's
You want number 4?
amazing.
Oh, you number 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got the whole ceremony and like you talk about documents and
So from those shows, after those shows that I was showing, like the blog talks, that whole week until we had the next show, my DM was blowing up with, I need a sitter. A sitter. A sitter is the person who holds the ceremony.
gotcha.
I'm sitting for you while you are traveling the dimensions, exploring your consciousness, right? Your mind may be like bugging out. I'm just here to tell you, relax, chill out, everything's fine, lay back down. I may have to repeat that several times throughout the night, or maybe once or twice, depending on where you at.
Is it because of the high dosage?
No, it's because of the high trauma that you carry.
Facts.
It's because of the tightness in your fist.
You don't feel
that you
safe.
think that you're running something. So for me, back to the brother, one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this is because of the black sisters in Atlanta. Y'all need more healing than anyone else because y'all front on y'all's healing. Y'all will compromise. There's so many programs out here to heal the womb that y'all don't go through and complete. Y'all will compromise. Y'all go through, get a little trying. Something wrong with her. Go back through another program. This don't feel right. You damn ain't got but 2 more weeks. This right here, there's no compromising. People, you put in your system, they just be like, oh, you make it stop.
Can't
It'll be
run.
over in the morning.
Cannot
That's my
run.
statement. It'll be over in the morning.
Have you seen it gone bad?
Never.
You never seen it gone bad?
Never. Because I control setting. And I'm a sorcerer. It can't go bad.
Right.
I got too much protection set up in the space. It's too comfortable. It's plush.
Yeah.
It's like this. I got the same person who did this design to come do the space. My shit fire. He here. A moon.
He is it.
Yeah. I got the same artist who did this to come do my space. Get a big black round of applause. We wouldn't do no ceremonies. And if something go bad, I blame half of it on him. You know what I'm saying? Because he did the artwork.
There's
So
another brother out here who did the artwork, helped do the artwork right here.
I'm talking about the artwork in the Gin room.
What?
You did all of it. That's right.
I can't do that.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, he gets half the credit for ain't nothing going bad. Ain't nothing happened because of his skill, of his mastery. You know what I'm saying? Like that room is warded up. You can't get by what he put out there on
This
those.
brother did the carvings. You know what I'm saying? I helped him as well, but you know what I'm saying? He's the
Beautiful.
main one.
All right.
I ain't seen this one here in like 20 something. I ain't seen this one right here. Man. You gonna teach me something later today? Yes. Stick around. So no, I ain't never had nothing go bad. But look, I have seen, I describe it like a plane. Anybody here rode on a plane?
Oh yeah.
Takeoff is always pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Landing is pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the issues at?
Going up.
Turbulence.
Turbulence. How often you gonna get turbulence on a plane? It come with the plane.
Yeah.
So when we take this flight, when we get high to go, depending on what people are holding on to, is determined on what the level of turbulence they run into. Right? So plus, I'm a Qigong here. I know how to make you get your breathing back right so you can relax. Relax. I teach you the breathing technique before you take the mushrooms. I already got something in there that all you gotta do is go back to that. Take your socks off. You get to a place, rub the floor. I got a carpet on the floor that'll bring you back, you know what I'm saying? Because it make you feel good. Right? So anybody's got another question? Yes, ma'am.
I didn't catch the beginning, so
I'm talking about how you owe everybody $10 because you was late.
right, my bad.
I'm gonna collect. I'm gonna give it to everybody. Go ahead.
But I don't know if you mentioned the difference between a high healing and a trip.
Hey,
Is there,
Oh, yeah.
like,
mushrooms and marijuana.
Totally
Yeah.
different.
Somebody answer that question.
no comparison.
No comparison.
No comparison.
Several. No comparison. One reason is because mushrooms ain't a plant. It's not plant medicine.
Well, what about ayahuasca and
This is
Totally different.
This is because this has needs no alchemical thing added to it. For ayahuasca to work, you must add fire to it. You must take 2 vines, water and fire to get the juice. You take this picture, put it in your mouth, go to work. The formula for ayahuasca came out of this. This predates ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is also a purging element. This is not.
just the purge with that?
I didn't say that. I
Oh.
didn't say that. There's no purging. I just said This wasn't made for you to purge.
It will clean
But
you out,
people
though.
throw up. So your next question is, if this ain't a purging element, why do people throw up on mushrooms? Because the mushrooms don't like what's in your stomach. So you should have purged before you got here, or you should have fasted.
I was about to say you recommend fasting before doing it.
For us, 2 o'clock is the cutoff. If you're going in with me, you go in at 9 o'clock. So 2 o'clock is your last meal, or you fast all day. So I had a cat just went in day before yesterday. He fasted all week. He was just on juices and water. No, not now. He had a lot of turbulence though, but he didn't have no issues with throwing up. No, and yeah, to date, probably maybe I've had one person purge. And that was just recently. So that's fine.
That's when they had something spicy.
I don't know what it was, but I don't know. Obviously, it was like I don't. But really, it was in their head.
Or was it the dosage?
Nah, because everybody had the same dosage. Because when I go in on group trips of up to 3 people. So actually, what was going on? Her mind was resisting so much. She was trying to get out of it. So she was trying to make herself purge. Because it wasn't unnatural. You can hear somebody trying to, you know when somebody just throw up by themselves and somebody trying to make themselves throw up. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, so first I was like, yo, tell your stomach that you don't have to throw up. And she was like, I don't have to throw up. And she like, calm down. I was like, see? And then about another minute later, she was like, And I was like, hey, yo. I was like, yo, you took this to do this, so grow up. That's really what what else you want me to say? Grow up. You came in here, you signed up for it. It's gonna be over in the morning. Just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Take it in the face. You know how many bottle of pills drugs probably got at their house that they ain't finished? That's got all kind of warning labels on them. And we still take them just confidently. Look at me, I've been to the Veterans Administration Hospital. I got a prescription from the white man. I know it's got some dangers to it, but I'll take it anyway. Well, this is like from Kemet or Thailand or ancient technology, and it's organic. You know, you can take this. Hell no. It's illegal. Only white people do this.
It's a hard drug.
It's a hard drug. And that goofball goes back to prove just what I said. Niggas don't read. So what do we do as far as strategy? I don't talk to them. No. This is not for convincing. Somebody in here, after I finish having this conversation, and you still think that this ain't for you or whatever, that's fine. We can talk about something else. We can talk about lemonade or cryptocurrency. I will never speak to you about it a day of my life. I do not care. I know how to grow. And I know that I have the best place, most comfortable place to do my own experimentation in the world at this time, because nobody has a spot like that where it celebrates our culture. So when I go in and I come back out, I see me on the walls. I go in and come out seeing me. You go to these white people in the Netherlands, they're gonna charge you 1,700 euros. It's on the site. And you're gonna take 2 grams. 2 grams. They're gonna let you come in on Friday. They're gonna talk to you for 2 hours. You're gonna have a session. You're gonna sit in a chair with a room that don't look like you. It's gonna be a raggedy couch. It's gonna have Moby Dick picture on the wall, maybe Andrew Carnegie and some other white people you don't know. Dusty carpet with maybe some mildew. You're gonna get up. You're gonna come back the next day and talk to somebody for 2 hours. And then you're going about your business. You ain't gonna never be reminded about yourself. Yes, sir.
Question. 2 questions, doesn't matter. First of all, my name is Joey. Thank you for holding space. I appreciate you.
That's what I do, hold space.
Indeed. First question is, for somebody who's never taken it, would you just assess them and decide whether or not they should be consuming 5 grams, or would you give them a different dose?
You come through me, you're gonna see 5 grams. That's the lineage I'm on. But I do assess everyone, and my questions are: A, are you on any psychotropic drugs? You on any type of depressants or pharmaceuticals or anything like that? If so, the answer is no for you. No grams. Not 1 gram, 2 grams, 10. no grounds. I ain't in it.
Mm-hmm.
Next, why are you coming? What do you want to do when you're coming to do this? That's gonna tell me whether we're gonna dance or not. If they got a whole bunch of intrepidation and stuff, I say no. I say go find somebody else.
What you mean by that?
You can't come to me.
Nah.
I got one style. I teach 5 grams, 7 grams, 9 grams. Everybody come out of my school, we whoop Bruce Lee ass. So you can go find some other Cobra Kai teacher to get you right. But I'm Miyagi, because I come off of Kilindi's lineage. So I'm lineage based. So I can only teach what I was taught. And I know it works. I know it worked for me, and I know it has worked for everybody that's come through. You know what I'm saying? So 5 grams is enough gas in the tank. You know, everything else ain't gonna get you a breakthrough. So what I didn't even know this till like last week on Clubhouse. They said that what we're doing is called breakthrough technology. I didn't even know what that was. They was like, yo, you doing research and development in breakthrough technology. I was like, what? Because on 5 grams you're gonna have a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Because on 3.5, less than 5 grams, you can manage and do something else. You can work in my man's kitchen. He might catch you and say, don't do that again. Don't come in here on 3 grams.
Right.
Microdose, you can come in here. You can still cook on 3 grams, maybe, if you've been taking them a while. But on 5, you gotta
No
get
good to
out.
nobody.
Stretch out.
Yeah, that's on point, because right when you said breakthrough, 555 came on the number of change.
There we go.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wow.
As my big homie said, men lie, women lie.
Numbers down.
Numbers gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My second question was, if somebody took 4.5, 4.8 grams and had an untamed experience resulting in not a positive experience, how would you feel about them, reconnecting with the medicine?
Of course, go back. Because that was on them. It wasn't medicine, that was on them. That was totally them, because what was their city setting? Had they fasted that day? And what was their mind in? It wasn't the mushrooms.
Yeah.
That was on them. And really, they came in, like bro said, they came in wanting something. And so now they're gonna call it bad because they didn't get what they wanted. So I call that pouty kid syndrome. 4 billion years old.
Yeah.
How you gonna come tell 4 billion years what you want? You don't know nothing. You don't know enough to come in there.
Yeah.
That's like going to Bruce Lee saying, I'd like you to teach me boxing. Go to like Burley and say, teach me figure skating. But that ain't what I teach. What I do is I show you how to explore your consciousness. And the bad time that they had on 4.5, 4.8, that was a part of what they needed to see. So that's what we have turned into. We have turned into an avoider culture. That's why I said I love this. I love Toad even better. Because it moves faster. You know what I'm saying? Like he tried to be slick on this right here. The cat the other night tried to be slick because he wanted to engage. He wanted me to ground him, and I was like, I ain't grounding you. So he just kept saying, so what can I do for you? Like, you want 5 grams of mushrooms, man, shit you gonna do for me? But I didn't even answer him. That's what he wanted, was conversation. He wanted to talk to other people in the room. You my sis. I'd be there for you. Tell me what you need. You can't help her right now. She going in too. Be quiet so she can go in. Stop talking to her. I told her to stop talking to him. You're not going in to deal with mushrooms to stay grounded. Thank you, brother, for that question. That's a lot of people. I'm going to come in and be grounded. For what? That's what the turtle do. So for you, there's a turtle and there's a giraffe. The turtle and the giraffe are in the same geographic area. The giraffe says, hey, another 100 yards, we have miles of clear running. The turtle says, nigga, you crazy. All I see is bush. They both tell him the truth, but the higher truth is what the turtle should go with. Us, dealing with mushrooms, we acting like turtles. When you take mushrooms, you become the giraffe, or the hawk, or the dragon, or whatever. So you can look down and see it from another angle. You know what I'm saying? That's why blueprints, they're on the table and you look at it from the top of the house. You know what I'm saying? Look at it from the top down. When you build pyramids, you build them from the top down. When you going in, you doing your, it's the Kundalini is not in the base of the spine. Kundalini is up here. You know what I'm saying? You start from the top. When the sperm and the egg come down, which is formed first, the root or the crown? The crown. And then the spinal cord develops like this. And then the skeletal system comes down like this. And then the nerve endings come down like this. Don't nothing start with the vagina or the penis and then from the gonads and go up. That's how we don't think. The base of the Kundalini is in the base of the spine. How did it come as a tadpole first and then all of a sudden it just skipped to the base? This was made first. The brain was made, you know what I'm saying, the crown. Because that's how the soul enters the body. You had a soft spot with the baby. The soul don't come and enter in through the anus. You know what I'm saying? These are the common sense things that you get sharper in when you start dealing with these right here. Yes, ma'am.
So I have two questions. One, is this something that they can test for to see if it's in your system?
No test. Absolutely zero.
Okay. All right. And then the other question is, what's the worst physical experience of someone here?
No, the worst physical experience I've seen somebody have is when they don't take it. They keep living the same bullshit life. They keep dealing with the same niggas. They stay in the same job. He already asked that question.
Okay. All right.
She wasn't here. She wasn't here when
He said, what was the question? He said,
have you seen any bad? Have you seen it go bad?
yes, I haven't seen it go bad because I control the set and setting. I control the set and setting from 2 weeks before you get there. You already know what to do. You already know what to expect. Plus, before we take the mushrooms, I have two licensed clinician therapists in there with us doing pre-integration therapy. Excuse me, but I'm thorough. You know what I'm saying? My teacher is the shit. I'm thorough. I don't come out here, you know what I'm saying, half-assed and before I was ready. I'm ready. Every base is covered. Well, you have to watch out for this, covered. What about what you just said? Covered. What about the person? Covered. I ain't even talking to him on the phone no more. Now I'm doing video, Zoom, and recording. So now I've got both our conversations. So you want to come back and be like, well, I talked to him and he said, receipts. We ain't even playing that. You know what I'm saying? I seen what Me Too would do. I seen how they come after folks. All that's covered. Anything I don't even feel right with, you just keep it moving. Because I don't need you. I'm doing this as a service to the community. So if you look like you up to something or acting crazy, then go ahead, you can have your experience somewhere else. I got jokers flying in. There ain't no place, Los Angeles, Seattle, Miami, Boston, Baltimore police officer, they all flying in to have this experience. So Atlanta, I got less people from Atlanta participating than I got people flying in from around the country. So when he told me, he was like, yo, come talk about it. Baba Kilindi left a year ago yesterday. So that's my teacher as far as this is concerned. And I'm just like, yo, we can get with the program, we can get down or we can get down or we can get rolled over. Because what's coming as far as evolution of consciousness and as far as the money is coming. And you can drown or you can create a boat that will float up when it comes. It's just like buying crypto at $2. You ain't got to do nothing else. You was prepared. Now it's at 60,000. Hopefully you bought a lot of it. If you bought crypto at $2, you bought 100, you got 50 coins. What if you had 50 Bitcoins at $2? Now you got 50 Bitcoins at 60K. What's the difference between that person and the person who didn't do it? Scared. Not scared. Scared.
Mm-hmm.
Scared money don't 50 cents. Scared money don't make no money. Yes, sir.
So I've had very good experiences while going up, but coming down has been kind of like almost violent for me. Have you ever experienced that? And if so, what do you suggest? Or what would you?
Go back in.
Yeah.
Go back in again. Cause the ass whooping was something you needed.
Yeah.
Cause I got one. I got two. I got mine. I got one May 10th. I got a thrashing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't go back in for 7 months.
Yeah, exactly.
I went in May 10th, full moon in Scorpio. I won't do that again. And then, nah, I'm straight. I got enough of that. I take already know what it tastes like. That's, and then I went in when all these fake ass astrologers was talking about the big thing that was the great conjunction on December 22nd, 2020.
Yeah.
What do you think, OE? I was like, I think you should have took my class 4 years ago. You wouldn't have to ask me what to think. I already know what's gonna happen. You don't know. That's your problem. You wait till the last minute to ask me some shit. You the one that's stuck. That's your problem. Then I went and looked it up and was like, damn, it is something here. They ain't talking about that. And I was like, I'm sliding on in there. I caught it for myself. And then at the end, which I call, so there's a ride up, there's the top of the mountain, and then there's the feathers back down. So that's what this thing here on the way back down, the high part is over and all that. And then that messaging that can come in is a thing that could be unsettling. You know what I'm saying? These truths they're giving you at this particular place because you're so open. You ain't vulnerable, you're just really open. And they come in and you can react violently to it. They're not trying to whoop you, you know what I'm saying? But you try to resist. So it may be some banging on the floor or something like that. But that's a part of transition. Everything you want is right outside your comfort zone. So as soon as you get on some mushrooms and you feel uncomfortable, say stop. I must be close. If you take mushrooms and you are comfortable, you ain't close to what you want. Everything you want is right outside your comfort zone. You cannot have what you want inside your comfort zone. It's a law. You have to push past it. You can't lose. I can't lose this without going to the gym, making some particular changes or whatever. You must step outside your comfort zone. Our comfort zones are our prisons. This is a jailbreak. Because it's gonna make you uncomfortable. You get to look around and be like, then you can make a decision. Do I stay out or do I go back into jail? Because all of us are building our own walls. So I can use the same material and the same energy to walk through the wall, tear the wall down, whatever. This is the most responsible. This is a tool of responsibility. It's to be used responsibly. So if somebody having bad instances, that could be their karma. You can see it's wise to study reincarnation with this, because what is some karma that came from 5 lifetimes ago that you may need to pay for right now? So now somebody come back and tell you it was a bad trip. How you know? You wasn't there. That's their report. Grandmaster Sanada said, you can never know in 5 minutes what somebody's been studying for 5 years. You mean you got to fight? I don't know. You look kind of delicate and dainty. I don't know. You might know some shit. You know what I'm saying? He way smaller than me. That'll be an error. You know what I'm saying? Running up on all that right there. Especially when you get to the car. You know what I'm saying? It's a real problem. So you have to understand that people got so much shit that they bring. It ain't the mushrooms. It ain't never their fault. It's because we like to hide and blame other people. We don't want to take responsibility.
Very true.
But what does taking responsibility give you? Accountability. Everybody who want to fuck with somebody accountable, raise your hand. Now everybody want to mess with somebody accountable? Who want to mess with somebody who's not accountable? Raise your hand. Right. That's what we got out here, a bunch of non-accountable folks. They're called baby daddies who don't pay child support. They're called baby mamas who don't know how to communicate with baby daddies. Because everybody got a part in this. All these dysfunctional relationships that we got going on, the proof is in the pudding. I don't got to keep going back and forth with folks. I just add the numbers up. Divorce is 85% high amongst black people. Let's hit your relationships. Now to be honest. Yeah, I didn't know. This had me trust your instincts. I'm so tired of you black sisters in Atlanta talking about, well, you meet somebody, you really don't meet the real person. You had 2 babies with him? You want me to give you a pass?
Mm.
You want me to bring my best? But shit, your decision making seems to be shitty at this point. Let me introduce you to some mushrooms. I don't care where you start. Damn it, take some. You know what I'm saying? Get some microdose. Do something. Introduce yourself to this right here at some point. That's why I mean, how many sisters can we get in Atlanta to damn start growing mushrooms, doing toad? I want y'all to take over the whole shit. Take over the whole thing. I want y'all to take over the whole industry. The growing, the cultivation, the providing, all of it. Y'all want to leave it to us? Yes, sir.
You say toad, you talking about Cambo?
No, that's for purging. I'm talking about the 5-MeO DMT.
Ah, gotcha.
Bufo.
Yeah.
Yes. Which that's coming. That's coming.
Yeah.
It isn't. She is in town.
Mm-hmm.
I just ain't ready. I mean, yeah. Like I'm gonna straighten this out first. Let's take care of high school first before we go to PhD. But this high school, at the minimum.
Definitely ready for that though. I've been being called to that.
The toad.
Yeah.
I can tell you ready. How many? What's your highest doses on the mushroom?
4.8. Yeah.
You should have said something on time ago. Okay. Why y'all didn't tell me to shut up a long time ago? Tyree, this is all your fault. I can't do your fault. Yes, it is. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank y'all so much. My Instagram, social media, OE517 on Instagram. I appreciate it. Just hit me on the DM. If you're interested, I'm gonna just be sitting over there chilling. If you want to ask me more questions, I'm gonna get off the stage now. Not you, because I talked to you all yesterday. So somebody else who I ain't talked to, I'm gonna talk to y'all today. Okay? OYI 517. Yes. That's me right there.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, thank y'all. Give yourself a big black round of applause for yourself.
All right, thank you once again for all the being exposed to this experience. We're gonna transition to another amazing set of learning about numbers, etc. I'm gonna turn the lights on. Are you leaving?